Hello everybody, I'm going to record a very straightforward and direct tutorial on how to use ProBuilder in UV mapping for video screens. And this is a very specific tutorial because someone asked me for this. So here's how we start. First off, we assume that you have ProBuilder. If you don't have ProBuilder, here's how you do this. Click on Window, you go to Package Manager, you go to Packages Unity Registry, and you type in the word Pro. Now you have ProBuilder here. You click Add to Project, so ProBuilder will be here. ProBuilder does not show up by default, so you're going to go to Tools, ProBuilder, and ProBuilder Window. That will bring up this. And if it's not docked somewhere, you should dock it because it's very useful. Now, we're going to use ProBuilder to manipulate UVs within Blender, or within Unity here. My apologies. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new 3D object. We're going to create a quad, and it's way the hell over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to click up here and reset position. And now the quad is here. So now we're going to bring the quad over here. Now we have a normal quad. Now let's just apply a material to it, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to go to Assets, and we're going to drag our Foxconn VMap to it. Now over here, what I have done with the normal ProBuilder prefab, and this is when you go to Tools and you go to TXL and you go to Video TXL, add Sync Player to prefab. I've done a few extra things to this video player and I want to break it down to you. In Screen Manager, I have clicked the Convert to CRT button, which now presents this box here. If you didn't click it, there will be a button that says Convert to CRT. You'll click that, and that will generate a render texture mode, which is here. And then this render texture is applied to this material. Now, that's what I did there. Now the second step to get this map to show up here, I actually clicked on Screen Manager and I applied the material or the texture to Editor Texture. And that applied here. That's what just makes it so when you're working on the editor, you can see the mapping as it stands, which is very helpful. So now here we have our Foxconn material applied to another V4 material. This is just a temporary material. You can just call this material as a temporary, and it's being treated as such. So now what we want to do is we just have a quad here. This quad doesn't really do anything until we get it into ProBuilder. So we need to ProBuilderize it. So we click on ProBuilderize, bam, and it brings up all this, makes it white. What does this do? It converts it from a normal quad into a ProBuilder mesh filter. And what I like to do too is I like to remove the collider, because if you don't in ProBuilder, you will have these random bumps and blocks and things that show up in the world, and people are like, what am I standing on? And you'll be like, I have no idea. And it's because you manipulated a cube and you didn't update it from it being a cube collider. So I just like deleting them as a precursionary. So now here we have ProBuilder. So we're going to go over here to this mode, which is a selector mode, and we're going to click on UV Editor. When you do that, it brings up UV Editor. You can also manipulate them right here as well. These four things are exactly as these four things. In fact, they act in unison when you click them. So you have your four dots. Now we want the green screen. So we're going to take these two dots here on top, and we're going to slide it down to the top of the green right here. And as you can see, I'm manipulating that in the space. And then we drag that in. There's our first screen. All right, so now we're going to click here, go back to normal mode. We're going to hit Control D and duplicate, and we're going to drag this screen over. And now, since we have this screen selected, we'll go back to the dot mode. We'll select all four, and we'll drag this over to the second screen. And as you can see, we now have two monitors, two screens. Well, let's close the UV away because I just dirtily and quickly built the UV map. However, you have the wrong material applied to it. How do we fix that simply? Well, we grab this material from the video. I clicked on the video screen here, and we have our video TXL material. So go back to here. We have our render texture, which applies to this material and this material. Put it on this screen, put it on this screen. Now it is a fully functional UV mapped screen from your UV map. And that's the quick and dirty way to UV map in ProBuilder. That's all there is to it. That's all you need to do. You can get a little bit more crazy in how you map things around and how things slice up, but the bit nut and potato of it is basically that. So now, all you have to do is render your project and hit play, and you're off to the races. We can get into another video on how you generate these maps. These maps are done with Resolume and a program called Arena, which you don't have to pay for. It is a paid program, but you don't have to pay for it to generate these maps. Anyway, that's how you do it. That's quick and dirty. You're welcome, and I hope you do well.